So there's been a lot of controversy since the games on the weekend about the referees and the bunker and whether or not it's a good thing, a bad thing. Todd Greenberg came out today and he's basically said everyone needs to grow up and let the game be. Now, no one likes to see a game decided by a wrong decision, but I don't know. Looking at the footage that we've seen, there may not have been that much of a wrong decision made.
I really felt sorry for Manly and I could understand Baz's frustration. Getting beat on a controversial call like that, it's hard to take. But looking at the new photo today or the new image, then you go, oh, well, fair play. You know, but the refs have absolutely copped a pizzling over the weekend, from ex-players to coaches to ex-coaches. Everyone's had their 2 cents, and ex-referees and all this kind of stuff. You know, like, it's hard to really come out there and hammer the refs or stick up for the players or stick up for the coaches, because I can see it from both sides, and I always have. You know, the refs have got the hardest decision in the game. They can cost you a game or win you a game.
And that's the thing. Like, you can definitely see it. It's a professional game. Yeah. Coaches live or die by results. Yeah. We've talked about that before.
I just think one problem with the referees and then going to the bunker is the decision to go try straight away. I think if they have no idea what the call is, they should just go straight to the bunker without them saying, look, I think it's a try, or no try, because that's a massive decision, because the ref thinks it's a try, so the bunker's on the ref's side. So if he said, I've got no idea, just go up there and check Tyrone Peachey if it's touched, I'm pretty sure that they would have said no try.
And the thing is as well, they talk about sufficient evidence. So if a referee makes an on-field decision and they go up to the bunker can only rule on
That's what I'm saying.
Things.
Like they can only rule on certain things. But I mean, like, if you're the ref, go, I have no idea what's going on, which you don't. Can I just please check everything? You know, and then you got, like, I mean, there's the chance of human error, of course, but why do we have the bunker?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, we've cut that human error out. Because we've got the bunker, so don't award the try.
Still has human error. That's the whole thing, because the bunker's been, like, we're not Skynet, we're not getting run by robots. While there is still humans, are we? I don't know. Are you a robot?
Mate, yeah.
Not with those teeth. So if you look at the bunker, though, it's still going to have decisions made by humans, and they can make errors. Look, they reckon the old thing is that the only reason you become a referee is because no one turns up your 21st. Now,
is that the reason?
That's the reason.
I thought because you couldn't play footy.
Well, that's probably another reason. But you've got a situation where coppers are going to have to take referees from the ground to keep them safe. And they're getting so much. Who would be a referee? Like, we need to protect the referees. I understand that if a decision is made, people can lose their jobs.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Like you can tell with. I mean, you have Gordy coming out and MG and all these players. Ex-players. Now they're critics on the game. You know, they've got their own view. Like, I can't really go, I'm not going to bag the refs. No. I know they've copped the absolute hammering, and I know they have a hard job, but I just want them to get the right decision.
Yeah.
You can't please everybody, but I mean, like, I just have a real problem with with them awarding the try when they have no idea.
And I'll tell you what, if you look at the Peachey thing, every single Penrith supporter thinks it's a terrific idea, terrific decision. Yeah. And every single Manly supporter thinks it's a terrible one. It's 50-50. That's the whole thing.
But you don't want to go out of the semi-finals with a 50-50.
What was the one the other year when, was it the Cowboys, when there was they scored a try on the seventh tackle?
Yeah.
Against Cronulla. Like, that sort of stuff shouldn't happen. But if you've got a 50-50 call, look, I just think if you've got a referee, you need to understand that they're human and they're going to make errors. There's that old saying when you're boxing that never let it go to the judges.
Yeah.
You know, Cronulla probably should have won that game by 15 points, 20 points, just to make sure that it didn't get to that. So you can't necessarily blame.
But you can understand. I can understand the coaches going nuts.
Yeah. Well, their job's on the line.
Their job's on the line. You work your ass off from October, November, all the way till now, and then to get done by a decision. Obviously, it's just not one decision. You can look back on the whole game, and there's a shitload of moments that cost you the game.
Yeah.
So it's not just them one or two moments. It's a whole game. So, you know, but you can understand with the coaches going out there and going crazy. But how do you protect the refs? Like, you're going to have to come out. I mean, Todd Greenberg come out and go, enough's enough. You know, like, who wants to, like, obviously you said, who wants to be a referee now?
And he slapped fines on both.
And they're going to have to be hefty fines, 20 grand. The club will pay that. The club will pay that. It's not coming out of Flano's or Baz's pocket.
No.
Some of these refs actually want to ref a grand final, ref an origin game. So they're some of the biggest pressure games that you can do. Do you actually want that job now with all the media bullshit that comes with it?
Oh, but who would want to do that? I don't.
Like the whole thing. I mean, like the players escape, and I could see some ex-players coming out and go, "Oh, blame the players, blame the players." Coach doesn't want to go into a press conference blaming all the players.
No.
Then you lose the locker room.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, oh, why do you blame me? Why? Then the finger gets pointed everywhere, and then you start losing the locker room. People start arguing. So you can't go and coaches are never going to go into a press conference and blame players. That's out of order. That's just out of order. Like if you're a player and the coach is slamming you, unless you've done something that was absolutely ridiculous, like you're not going to blame the players. You're just going to blame someone, and the refs obviously are in the firing line. He's a scapegoat. So.
If they change that sufficient evidence thing and they let as you said before, if they let the referees just go up and say, I wouldn't have a clue what just happened, you make a decision, then it takes the pressure off the referees. I mean, all this technology, they should use it. I
mean, onto the Cronulla game, like that first try when Winterstein was going across field and he drops the ball and goal and Townsend jumps on it, that's a 50-50. You don't know whether he ground the ball, but they got 6 points out of that.
How do you get a start in the bunker?
I don't know how to ring Luke Patton up. I think the general runs the bunker these days. So
does he?
Yeah, he's in there.
Ex-players.
It would suck.
That'd be the worst job in the world. Although I'll get a start. If anyone in the NRL's watching, I'll have a start in the bunker.
There's so much pressure on the pocket refs, on the bunker, everything. I mean, like as everyone's saying, like who wants to be a ref these days? You just get smashed.
They should leave.
Got to have some thick skin.
Leave them alone.
Don't give them a little bit, but just not as much as they're copping now. I mean, like the Cronulla thing, you can say, look, Paul Gallen with that play the ball, you know, that's a 50-50. Gal should know. I mean, like you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that penalty. You can understand when it was 14-12 up the other end when Pryor actually raked the ball out. You can see 14-all. It's game on. There's no way a ref is going to cost you the game right there when it's a 50-50 call.
No.
You know what I mean? Like I just don't understand that. Like, and Frano has every right to come out and go nuts. I'm with Flano with the Maloney thing. I don't think Maloney should have got sent off for 10. Getting sent for 10 is massive these days. It costs you 10 points pretty much. But he was just in his way. He didn't hit him off the ball. There was no way Lowe was going to score the try. I mean, like it's different if it was Greg Inglis or someone who can run 9 seconds in 100 metres that's running past you, but not that. I mean, like I can understand with a couple of little things, but not the Gallen thing. I think Gal would probably, if he had his time again, he'd just get out and play the ball. You know, Fafita going. I mean, they're trying to put it on Fafita. I wouldn't put it on Fafita. I mean, like I know he was running crossfield a little bit, but I know the way that Fafita thinks. He'd run across field. He'd probably looking for an offload so they can break the line or something, just something special. Because he comes up with big plays. Because you can't coach the guy and you can't structure him. And that was the best example of him not being able to be structured. Because if that was any other team, he would have jammed it in at the post.
Yeah.
And then maybe another one, and then they would have went for the field goal to even it up. But he took it that way. He was probably looking for a couple of tackle busts and then an offload, something like that, just so they can work, maybe make some more meters. It wasn't a selfish play. It was just the wrong play.
I just wish people would stop throwing objects at referees. It's a bad thing to do. Well, the Wallabies went out on the weekend and broke the nation's heart yet again by drawing with South Africa. It was a game played in front of a fairly full crowd in Western Australia who spent the majority of it chanting for the Force. It's not a game that's going to save rugby, is it?
No, it isn't. I think there was a couple of people over there that was at fault. You know, they were handing out Western Force jerseys and it was like a big protest. Like, you're there to support your national team, the Wallabies, and that's it.
Yeah.
Get there, put your Wallaby jerseys on, shut up and enjoy the game.
Yeah.
But no, there was always some prick out there. He just wanted to give a Western Force thing or a black jersey or something that's going to, start some little protest. You know what I mean? Like, just be proud. You got the Wallabies in town. It's a nation's team, and enjoy the game.
It was one of those games too where, like, every time the Wallabies look like they're going to start to play footy for a full game, they just drop off. They just get to a point. They just don't seem to have the ability to put sides away. Yeah,
it's a bit frustrating if you're a Wallaby supporter. I mean, you'd expect them to put a fair score on South Africa. I couldn't name one South African player in there. They're all pretty much coming up from the under-21s.
They're all young kids.
They're rebuilding. All the big dogs have all retired. You know what I mean? So I was expecting a pretty big score and the Wallabies to get back up and get a little bit of confidence and give the rest of the country some confidence in this championship. But they pretty much give everybody a little bit of hope. and then just took it all back. And remember, everyone just went, oh.
That's the most frustrating thing about them too. They get to a point where they start playing some good rugby. They got up by Beale scored that try, and you think, you know what, they can really go on with this here.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they just take the foot off. They start making mistakes. And I'll tell you what, it's not from what of trying. Michael Checker has involved.
Yeah.
He's got a really, really good atmosphere around the team. You can tell they want to play for each other. They're just not as good as they should be. And I don't know whether it's fitness, like we've talked about before, but they're
I don't
just
know.
not there.
It's just a little bit of probably confidence. I mean, like getting smacked by the All Blacks, but then they give everybody hope because
Playing so well.
Because they played so well against them, and then they come back and they regress again. Everyone's like, what sort of team are we? You know what I mean? Like,
We're a team
what sort of
that can't
culture?
win.
Yeah, what sort of culture are they establishing? You know what I mean? You probably got a red hot back line. You got an experienced forward pack. Like, what's your excuse?
And the other thing as well, the Argentinians did really well against the All Blacks. They did really well against the All Blacks. And I notice now that they're playing against Argentina in Canberra. Now, I'm not Canberra's a lovely spot, but their main ground only holds 20,000 maximum. So they've taken that game there, probably to give the people of Canberra, you know, a
Canberra's
game.
Canberra's a massive sporting capital.
Yeah, but it's still
Not a
like
capital,
they're
but
not
I mean,
even
like,
expecting to get
bring it.
20,000.
Don't
You think
don't
I'm
go
not
to
bagging Canberra?
Don't go to Canberra. Just take it to that Allianz.
Yeah, but
Like
they obviously they're
Sydney
scared they're
people-
not going to fill it.
I'll be scared too. Look what happened to our crowds. Semi-final game. But I mean, like, everybody turns up for the Wallabies in Sydney.
Yeah.
They do. You know that.
Yeah.
They'd at least get 30, 40,000 there.
You'd think so.
You know, but I mean,
Argentina run a massive draw card, but I mean, I'll tell you what, if they can't sell out GIO Stadium in Canberra, they have got some real issues because
it's going to be freezing cold.
it's always cold in Canberra. It's
Beautiful.
They're used to it.
Moosehead is great.
That's
all
nice
I
places
remember.
in Monica.
Yeah.
No, but I reckon it shows that they don't have the confidence in the brand, and that's what they talk about the Wallabies as a brand. They don't have the confidence in the brand to take the game to a bigger stadium.
Which is such a shame.
It is,
like,
it's a
they should
shame.
be nearly selling. I mean, 10 years ago, they're selling out ANZ Stadium.
Yeah.
They'd sell out Allianz.
Oh, easily.
I mean, like, now they're going to go to these little provincial games, Western Australia, Canberra.
Western provincial. Hello to all the people watching in Western Australia.
Sorry.
Perth might be a little bit bigger than the province.
Perth, Canberra, you know, just
Dubbo.
they're not known for union.
No,
They're AFL
Yeah.
and rugby league.
they're trying to grow the game. I understand
They're
that.
such
but
a big brand, the Wallabies.
They are, that's the
They should
thing.
have confidence in their culture and their team to play anywhere in Australia and sell it out.
keeps going like this. I'll be playing at North Sydney Oval
If they keep going like this, they might sell out Henson. Maybe.
Henson
Maybe
Park.
sell out Henson.
with all the
Blue
hipsters.
bags.
All the
Tommy
hipsters.
Rodonigus.
You play for them too. There's another
I
club
play
you
there,
play
yeah,
for.
that's right.
Oh, look, you know, I want the Wallabies to do well. Everyone wants the Wallabies to do well, but there's only so many times that you can get punched in the guts, watching them, getting a little bit of hope, them getting punched in the guts and going
Like,
back
I thought, I switched off with about 15 minutes ago, and I thought the Wallabies were going to put at least another 20
when
on
they're
them.
in front. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that because, you know, the Springboks don't really know how to win yet. But obviously, the culture is entrenched in the Springboks. You put that jersey on, you're expected to win.
Yeah.
And that's what Australia's like, and that's what the All Blacks are like. You know,
Australia's
that's
not
what
like that anymore, though.
Well, it should be.
They should be.
You know, if you play for the Kangaroos, you put that jersey on, you're expected to win.
That's because you play against one other side in the world.
Shut up.
So one thing that the NRL crowds displayed this week was that they are well behind AFL. AFL finals, it was absolutely sold out everywhere. I think I read somewhere, because you've got to believe everything you read everywhere, that
do.
one game of AFL in the finals was bigger than all four of the finals.
Wow,
crowds.
really?
Yeah. In the NRL.
Was that first one, that Richmond and
Yeah.
Geelong, 95,000
There you
on
go.
the Friday night versus... And I can see why. I mean, like, I put a couple of things out on Twitter going, what can the game do to get more people at the ground?
Where'd you
Obviously-
tweet that from?
My bed.
Watching the game.
My bed watching the game, which everybody does because it's such a good product to watch on the TV.
Yeah.
You have to go here to see everything that happens off the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've been to AFL games and I've been to rugby league games, and you can watch everything, and everyone now's got a 50, 60-inch TV, sit at home, buy a carton of beers, and what everyone was whinging about on Twitter was the price. Everyone was whinging about the price of alcohol, the price to get in, you know, the parking. It costs you, you know, if you got a family of four, it's going to cost you over $200 or $300. Or you can sit at home, let your kids do what you want. You can have a couple of beers with your mates, and then enjoy the game.
And the AFL, I mean, so this weekend the Swans are playing against Geelong, which is in Sydney, and they'll get a big crowd to that. And they've got Greater Western Sydney playing against West Coast. That actually, I'm not a huge AFL fan, but I watched that Port Adelaide West Coast Eagles game. It was a good game.
That was their best game, but I mean, like you can understand where league fans, league fans are league fans, AFL, they're AFL, and there's no in between. I mean, I've always seen in between because I'm a big fan of AFL. Some good friends that play the game, and I respect them as athletes and the sport. But some NRL fans just can't see an AFL game, and AFL fans would never see an NRL game. They just can't see in between. You know what I mean? But some people can.
We've talked about the ARU before. The way the AFL's run, it's got to be one of the best corporations in Australia. They put money in. I mean, I'm not saying the NRL don't, but the results speak for themselves.
Yeah. Look at GWS.
Yeah.
You got GWS coming into NRL territory, and pretty much, I mean, they're not going to take over ever, but they're a top 4 team. They pretty much should have got to the grand final last year. The Swans are going to be there, but
Can we put that down to the Israel Folau signing? That was a
Izzy was the main one. Izzy was the main one to get him over the line.
He got him over the line at GWS. I think the only reason you like AFL is because everyone thinks you're Brendan Favola.
Yeah, if I go down there, I'm a superstar.
He's a superstar. He's 4 grand.
He ain't got these teeth, but
no one's got those teeth. But I think with the crowds themselves, I've been to AFL games live, and you're right, the atmosphere. One thing about the AFL games is they go a lot longer.
Yeah.
So you go there. It's more of a spectacle. The NRL, it's over quick because it's 40 minutes, and the rugby's the same. But the AFL, it's a spectacle. It goes for a lot longer, and people are so into it there. They really
are. It's part
are.
of their culture. I mean, like I spend a lot of time down in Melbourne. You know what I mean? And they wear their jerseys around. They're not the most flashiest jerseys. I mean, like it's not like an NBA singlet or an NFL jersey. They're sleeveless.
There's a lot of people shouldn't be wearing those jerseys.
There's a lot of people that should not be wearing them jerseys. You go for a beer in a local pub, they are all supporting that local team.
Yeah.
And every single pub around, like Fitzroy or something like that, or wherever I was, they're just all going for that one team. Every single one. If you've got another jersey on, they just hammer you. It's like being like, they've got that sort of NFL culture where everybody goes for each team in, around Carlton. Carlton's been like at the bottom of the ladder for years now. But they get 80, 90,000 a game.
They're obsessed.
And they go, like, you go to a couple of pubs around Carlton, which I've been, the Great Northern, thank you. And you go there and have a couple of beers and everybody's going for Carlton, even though they're coming last or second last. You know what I mean? But I mean, like, that's the culture. We just haven't got that. And we're not about that. And it's not going to change. We've been around since 1908. If we haven't changed yet, we're never going to change. All we care about the start of the year, and we have a little bit of a break, wait for Origin. We love our Origin. Have a little bit of a break again, wait for finals, and then we wait, and maybe the end of the World Cup or something like that. But I mean, the international game is not as big as it was, but we just hang our hat on Origin, and that's it.
Do you reckon? I mean, the Swans obviously lost 6 games to start the season and have come home, and now they're probably one of the premiership favourites.
Yeah,
they've got a huge advantage because they're up until the Greater Western Sydney started, they were the only team in Sydney. But they took so long to get...
Do you think that Sydney people really care that much about sport? As much as Melbourne people?
I think they care when teams win.
Well, we're massive front runners.
Oh, massive.
But like Melbourne, if you have a chat with someone about sport in Melbourne, they're competing with you.
Yeah.
Oh, we do the best this, we do the best that. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You can have it. You can actually have it. We don't really care about sport that much in Sydney because we've got so much and it's oversaturated, Sydney.
Would you say Melbourne's a low city and that's why?
I love Melbourne. I love Melbourne, but I mean, like they've only got I love Melbourne, but I mean, they've only got AFL teams to support.
Yeah.
They've got one league team that they've just got their head around supporting.
The best league team in the comp.
The best league team in the last 15 years. But they just support their team and that's about it. They've got no room for anyone else. The Wallabies might go down there, they'll support them.
They'll go to an event.
They'll go to Origin. They'll go to Origin. Yeah. They'll do a couple of things, but mainly, like that game, Richmond versus Geelong, 95,000 to a game.
Yeah, and it's consistent. It's not just...
It's not a fluke.
It's not they do it week in, week out.
Do you reckon Sydney is oversaturated with teams? That's another thing that I kept getting on Twitter.
That it's
oversaturation. Too many teams in Sydney, too many sports, too many things to compete with.
Look, look, there's a lot of things to do in Sydney, I guess, that take you away from
We've got a
sporting
coastline.
events. I reckon the AFL should be commended on what they've done. I think that it's never going to take over as the #1 sport in New South Wales and Queensland.
No.
But what they've
Give them a
done
fair
is
credit.
they've created a base where it's growing, and they've done so well with the development. They've got the women's game, which we've talked about,
Yeah.
that other codes are lagging behind. And I think they should really be commended.
They're always the front runners in something, like whether it be in the junior development. You know, they go to schools, they give out backpacks, balls to kick, you know, like little books, colouring in books, you know, players, everything like that. The Swans just flood that market in the eastern suburbs. We used to go to schools just with a little footy like that and just sign signatures. So the NRL, but in saying that, the NRL's really picked their game up. Talking to some people that are teachers, they reckon NRL at the moment are doing the most in primary schools.
Yeah.
They're coming there with the footballs, the little mini footballs, and they've got this book which is like the evolution of rugby league, so kids can read it and then learn how to play rugby league. So the NRL have really stepped their game up, because the AFL were leading that, because they were infiltrating everywhere in the eastern suburbs. They're going out west, they're doing everything, you know, with these little, a little kid doesn't care. As long as you've got a football to kick around with, that's a big thing. You know, like we weren't doing that much, but I've got to commend the NRL now. They're really, really stepped their game up, and they reckon that's, out of all three sports, the NRL one is the one the kids really love.
I was down on the weekend at
And so they should.
at a gala day, right? So it was a gala day from under 8s through to under 12s playing rugby. Now, that day went for forever, it felt like, but it went for about 8 hours. Now, there was all these kids there, not one Brumby was there. Why wouldn't the ARU send just one player to walk around, sign things? It's not a big thing to ask, but there's just no grassroots development whatsoever.
No, there is. I mean, that's where Union probably are falling behind at the
Massively.
moment. You know, and you can probably see that in their performances now. I mean, like, they're probably going to have to rebuild like South Africa. They'll play the next World Cup, and a lot of people will just drop out. And then this next wave hopefully can bring, you know, some glory to that Wallaby jersey again, because that All Blacks jersey looks pretty damn fine.
How would you have gone in AFL?
If I lost 20 kilos, I'd be a good ruckman.
You could probably be all right.
I have nice hands, mate.